Hey, Tyrese Halliburton was brilliant in the Pacers' Game 1 win. 22 points, 13 assists, leading their high-octane offense that gave Cleveland fits. Indiana taking home court advantage, looking to go up 2-0 in the series. But that man, Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs, they got other ideas. They made a push late in the third before the Pacers shut the door. Game 2 coming up 7 Eastern on TNT and Max. Later this evening, we've got the Warriors and Timberwolves getting their second-round series started. Minnesota well-rested. Can't say the same for Golden State. Plenty of drama to come as the NBA playoffs continue. Welcome to Playoff Central live. Nabil Kareem alongside John Wall and Dennis Scott. And fellas, we are off to a great start here in the second round. It's been awesome so far.
Yeah, I think all the matchups are great. I think we get most of these series going to go 6 or 7. I mean, great basketball, great teams, all the ones we thought can be there. And you look at it, the top 3 teams that had the most wins this season all lost game 1s. At home.
John, when you play rest versus rust, how does it mess with your rhythm? For you, if you had more than 2 or 3 days off, did it mess with how you approached the game or how you played the game? Because, Nabil, we've always talked about it. I've got that question asked me a lot. I can't pinpoint what it is because I've seen both sides. But to this conversation we're getting into, all 3 teams who had more rest have lost game 1.
I think so. I think more rest because, when during the playoffs, you're not really trying to compete against each other because you don't want a freak accident happen with an injury. So you're just getting your work in, getting your shots, getting your reps in. But the guys that just had a long series, they came off competing basketball, battling. So I think you see those teams that we seen was rested. They came out lackadaisical, cool. Yes, those teams had leads early on, but then when it mattered in the third and fourth quarter, you haven't played in a competitive game. You don't know what to do. So now you got to refresh your memory. I think those teams are all to bounce back, but they have to win game 2 because you don't want to go down 0-2 going on the road.
Yeah. You hit around the head. Nabil, when you watched Jalen Brunson in overtime, you saw him get into a rhythm move and make shots. You saw Tatum and Brown look a little winded. Not that they're out of shape, is that rhythm at the end of the game wasn't there. Same thing with OKC. We all believe OKC can bounce back and have had a phenomenal year. But those last 3 minutes, to your point, the Denver Nuggets are in rhythm.
Yeah, because you look at it. Those last 3 minutes, you probably like, okay, I can find my rhythm. Now you got OG Anunoby or Mikal Bridges being physical with you for the full game. And now in that crunch time, do I want to get to the basket? Do I want to try to get to the free throw? Do I want to be with the physicality? Jalen Brunson, I just finished a big shot against the Pistons. I'm comfortable in this situation. We've been in close games. I'm fine. So I think they all would bounce back. They're not tired, like you said. They're not winded. But that game speed is totally different than working out in practice.
We're getting set here for the Pacers and the Cavs in Game 2. And the Cavs are beat up right now. And it's not just Darius Garland. Here's Kenny Atkinson.
Indiana deserved that. They're a more physical team. I will say there were 2 plays in that game. I don't think they were dirty plays, but I think it passed the line of physicality. The non-call on DeAndre's layup, and they reviewed it, and I'm just like in shock. I felt he got absolutely obliterated and dislocated his thumb, so he'll be questionable. Evan, around the same time, Turner contests his 2-point shot, comes clearly under him, and is pushed off balance and tweaks his ankle pretty bad. He'll be questionable. I don't think this is on Indiana. But the fact of the matter, I think that's on the referees. Maybe they were missed calls or maybe I'm misinterpreting the rules. But I have a problem when we got, 2 of our best players doubtful for tomorrow's game.
Jared Greenberg is working the sidelines tonight in Cleveland. He joins us now. Let's start with the injuries, Jared, specifically Darius Garland. What can you tell us about his health?
Yeah, well, he's missed the last 3 games with this toe injury that really has been a burden for him because of the type of point guard he is, how shifty he is, start and stops. That's been difficult. As of the other day, still dealing with swelling and pain, and it's really to the point where Kenny Atkinson says we can't afford to have him out there at these 50 or 60%. So they need to feel comfortable that he is confident and able to move like himself out there.
So the Cavs not 100% healthy here. That puts a lot more pressure on Donovan Mitchell to produce. I know you spoke to him earlier today. What's he saying about his approach?
Yeah, he's not trying to be a superhero out there, he told me. He said that, listen, in years past, he's made it personal. He's tried to only be about scoring, but he truly learned this year. He had his best year of his career, and he took less shots, scored less points, but his efficiency went up. he told me he really found it empowering to be able to uplift his teammates. So whoever's out there with him on the court tonight, he knows he needs to be aggressive at times, and he knows that the Indiana defense is going to be locked in on him tonight. But he knows he and the team is at their best when he's making sure that everyone's getting involved in the Cavs offense.
You know, on the flip side of things, throughout these playoffs, Jared, we have seen Indiana's ability to close out games. It really gives them a huge mental advantage. How have they been so clutch?
3-0 so far in clutch games in the 2025 postseason. This team has been so good down the stretch, and I think a lot of it has to do with the experience that they've had, particularly in that closeout game against Milwaukee to get to the second round. Also, all the games in the regular season that they had down the stretch, and they have different guys who have been capable of being that closer. It doesn't have to be Tyrese Halliburton. He could be as much of a playmaker as he is a scorer. And Rick Carlisle said after game one on Sunday, that our guys just play loose in those moments, and we tell them, just let it ride.
Well, Indiana could put Cleveland in a real tough spot here if they can go up 2-0 on this Cavs team that is clearly hurting. Appreciate the time, Jared. Thank you.
You got it.
All right, so in the moment right now, Garland, Mobley, Hunter, all still questionable. We'll keep you up to date on that when we find out if they're going to play. But that puts Cleveland in a really tough situation, 3D. I mean, those are three key players missed. 1, 2. I mean, we saw just missing one of them, Darius Garland, how that hurt them in game one.
It hurts them tremendously on so many different categories. Obviously, Garland being missed in game one, the scoring, being able to run the show, and all the things he's been doing all season long. But then you look at what Mobley being Defensive Player of the Year. Now you're saying, hey, come down the lane. Now Jared Allen's by himself. You get him in foul trouble. Now your driving lanes are wide open. So I'm more concerned with him because it's the ankle. So now his mobility is laterally going to be, hampered, if you will. Can Jared Allen hold down the foot a little bit more? And the confidence that the Pacers are playing with, John?
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned for the Cavs right now.
I'm super concerned. And like you said, Mobley being Defensive Player of the Year, he's one of those very rare bigs that can switch out and guard guards. Mm-hmm. So now, can he do that if he goes out there and play? Can he be mobile to do the things he wants? And we know Jared Allen can come in and step, but he's not the guy that's going to give you that offensive push over the hump that you have. And I think what we all thought when Cavs got DeAndre Hunter, what their team could be, they can push the Celtics or whoever they see in the next round. Missing DeAndre Hunter is going to hurt. We know what Darius Garland brings them, another all-star, getting 20 points, 6 or 7 assists. You have guys like Ty Jerome that come off their bench that's playing well. But I think you got to have at least 2 or 3 of those guys out there to give a chance because Indiana is playing at a high level, and they stole game one. You don't think they're trying to go steal game two. Knowing those guys might be out, the green light just went up in their locker room.
You've been in Donovan Mitchell's position. I mean, he was 13 to 30 in that game, but you've had that burden of scoring and kind of getting your guys set up. What would be your approach in this game if you're Donovan Mitchell?
The main approach is just be aggressive at all times. Like I always tell all guards or any young guys I'm talking to, be aggressive and push the pace, but it don't mean you got to score every time.
Right.
You're the guy that can create all the easy shots for everybody else. They're going to double team you. They're going to try to see you get the basketball out your hand, and you got to trust your teammates. Even though you know you got to be the guy to be aggressive, take the shots. You know when if the game's getting out of hand, be more aggressive. But always try to make the right play every time. And I think they'll be fine. And hopefully some guys like Max Strus, Ty Jerome, Sam Merrill, all those guys can step up for him.
Just make sure that you get back to doing all the things you did all season long while you had the best record. Why everyone was talking about Cleveland being the team to come out of the East, or to John's point earlier, to be the team that can challenge Boston because they made all the right moves. DeAndre Hunter, everything. The bigs playing together, small backcourt. But now it's the intensity. Can you bring that intensity level up to match what the Pacers brought to you in game one? That was the difference why they won that ball game.
What is Rick Carlisle telling his team going into this one?
Well, the main thing is when you look, it's like you're playing AU basketball. You look across the court and you're like, those guys can't play. Don't ever underestimate your opponents. No matter who's on that floor, all these guys are professional athletes for a reason. And those guys looking at it like, if those guys don't play, I have an opportunity to show, hey, coach, I might need to be in a rotation for game 3 or game 4 if they come back. So keep the same mindset. Don't let your game plan change. And go out there and play the same way you did with game 1 and try to get game 2 and go home up 2-0.
Back in the day, we called it the greedy boys. Let's go in there and be the greedy boys and take it all, because why play around? If they have 3 guys that's hampered with an injury and they're not 100%, go get greedy and try to take all of it, and let's go home with the extra bag in our pocket saying that we're going home up 2-0. Now let's go ahead and take care of our business. That's what you have to be.
Up 2-0, and then you got to go in with the mindset. Paul Pierce said this when we played Toronto. We won the first game. He said, let's go get game 2 because we don't want to come back here.
There you go. That's
how
Greedy boys.
Indiana got to have that mindset there.
19 of 36 from three in that game. The one thing Indiana does need to improve on is turnovers. 17 turnovers in that game led to 22 points. That really kept Cleveland in the game.
Well, that's the key in the playoffs anyway, especially a team on the road. You don't want to turn the ball over. You might give them more shot attempts than you. But, they're a team that usually don't turn the ball over a lot, but they play with a lot of pace. But you got to give credit to those guys. And I think Halliburton's been playing at a high level for them, getting a lot of assists, running the show for their team. But, hey, they got to go in and try to get this one.
All right, Indiana and Cleveland coming up at 7 Eastern again on TNT. Coming up, we're going to show some love to Kenny Atkinson, NBA's Coach of the Year, who has really made his mark in Cleveland this season. Hey, congratulations to Kenny Atkinson for winning Coach of the Year. Remarkable year for him with Cleveland as they dominated for majority of the regular season. Sean Powell, by the way, has a great feature on Atkinson over on NBA.com and how Kenny needed to get fired to get better. So check that out. Here's what Atkinson had to say about winning the award with our Playoff Central Live crew yesterday.
Congratulations, Coach of the Year, Kenny Atkinson. In fact, you're the first coach with a new team to win your first 15 games. Take us through the start of this, right, and how you knew it was clicking from day one with this particular group.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, first of all, just I was gifted. I knew before, before training camp, the type of talent we had with this team and the skill, obviously the competitive nature, already in an established, successful team. And then, we made a few tweaks. We got out of the blocks real quick and we did a lot of work, to get there, but, real credit to our players. We have an amazing roster, as you guys know, with amazing depth.
Coach, congratulations. Steve Smith here. When you took over, you saw Donovan Mitchell. It looked like he did a little bit less, but then there was more in wins. Was this because of the emergence of Evan Mobley, or was there a conversation you guys had at the beginning of the year?
No, it was definitely a conversation. We knew we had to empower Evan if we're going to make the next step. And a sign of great leadership, as you well know, is sometimes taking a step back so someone else can glow. And we talked about it. Donovan was actually he brought it to me first. We embraced that and gave Evan the ball a lot more. And then obviously he kept up his defensive acumen.
Congratulations, Coach. This is John Wall here. I want to know, how well do you think having Ty Jerome as your backup point guard, how well has he helped that second unit go for y'all?
Oh, man. No fear, Ty. His ability to connect the game really on both ends, his IQ, and then his aggressiveness. And, John, you know how it is now in the NBA. You got to be able to score the ball. So I think we empowered him to be more aggressive to score. He already had the skill level and the moxie to do that. Another guy we had to empower and push a little bit. As you know, he took the mantle and ran with it.
This group is deep and everyone contributed. For you, coming in, getting the most from Evan Mobley, Ty Jerome, and Darius Garland, being an all-star again, what was the key in making sure that all of those guys were comfortable and contributed?
Yeah, I think like Steve said, I think these are conversations that start early. It starts in the summer. It started when I got the job and going to visit those guys and really asking them, what they wanted, how we're going to take the next step. And they really kind of gave me the answers. And kind of once I heard their feedback, we kind of put the wheels in place, me and the staff, on what we needed to do. But again, as you know, it takes sacrifice from your best players, from your leadership. Maybe I have to take a few less shots, maybe I have to play a few less minutes if we're going to empower others. And that's the story of this team, really. A group of guys with great leadership and really sacrifice at the top, sacrifice from our best players. To make sure this thing took another jump.
All right, congratulations once again, Coach. Later this evening, Ant-Man going back to work. Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves open up their second-round matchup with Steph Curry and the Warriors. What does the chef have in store for us coming off a grueling series? John, 3D, going to preview it next.
what are you looking forward to most of this upcoming season?
Definitely going back to the playoffs and going further in the playoffs to go versus the Warriors. I want to play the Warriors. I want to get to the Warriors. Wherever they at, I want to get to them.
That's why the Warriors so much.
I mean, because Draymond talks so much trash. That's pretty much the only reason.
That's the kind of confidence he has, the charisma. I watched him, in Paris every day after practice. He and Kevin would go at it, and LeBron and Steph, and they would have these shooting contests, and he's right in the middle of it talking all kinds of trash. And it's such a big part of who he is, his love for the game, his love for competition. But it's all in a really good-spirited way. The main insight I have is that he's really damn good. So I don't know how that helps us prepare. They are where they are because Ant is a superstar.
We just got the scouting report right there. Pretty simple, but
there it is.
This is going to be a great series. This is the first time these two franchises, again, have faced each other in the postseason. If you want to go by the regular season, it was 3-1, but that's always difficult, right, with guys not playing and so forth, and the team's makeup's changing. When you look at this series 3D, what stands out to you?
That how Steve Kerr decides to attack Ant-Man. Early in the year, we all agreed that Ant had come back from being around USA basketball, Steph Curry, most made threes in NBA this year, most attempts, but he got away from being a superhero by not attacking the paint and getting downhill. Once he started doing it after the All-Star break, everything changed. The defense got better. And, John, you know this better than anybody. The trust of sharing the basketball, giving others opportunities to eat well. Now everybody's eating. How do you decide to shut him down, or should I say attack him? Because now he's a willing, well, early in the season, why am I getting double-teamed so much? I didn't even call him. Now, come double me. Go eat. Go eat. That's the part concerning me, because there's not one person, much as we love Jimmy Butler cannot stay in front of Ant-Man. He does not want that power coming every night in the series. So how does Steve Kerr double team and how does he play that?
I don't. That's the answer you got to see. But the good thing also in Minnesota is they built the team the right way around him. I think they have all the great shooters, you know what I mean? You got DiVincenzo, Nas Reed, Nikhil Alexander, Mike Conley, Jaden McDaniels, a guy that Ant-Man builds so much confidence into him. And so he feels like he's that guy. And then he also has Rudy Gobert playing well. And we got to give a lot of credit to Julius Randle. Then we come back from an injury. The way he's playing, he can score on the post. He can make plays. He can make threes. So if you're going to double team, you're going to have to give up a lot of threes, and you got to hope they're not making those threes. Because if you let Ant-Man play one-on-one, you're going to get the Ant-Man show. Right. It ain't just Ant-Man, ain't Batman, ain't Superman. It's Ant-Man.
What about the size for Minnesota? What kind of problem is this going to create for Golden State, or are we making too much of the size thing?
No, it's for me personally, John, and for our viewers, it's the first time I'm finally saying, Rudy Gobert, thank you. Thank you very much. Because how does a guy be 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, all the money's made, supposed to be this great, defensive player, then the fourth quarter we can't use him?
Yep.
Why? Oh, he changed his mind and said, I'm going to be physical. He changed his mind and said, I am 7 feet. I'm not letting the Lakers off the hook.
Yes.
If that Rudy Gobert shows up, Draymond love you to death, Kevon Looney love you to death, you're not dealing with that, and the rest of the Randalls, the rest of these guys are playing their bigs.
Yeah, I think he has to be that guy. He was catching lobs. I mean, every time I see him throw a lob, I'm like, why are you catching it? Why are you coming down with the basketball? You're 7 feet. You're the tallest guy there. So I think with Ant-Man building that confidence into him having a game like that coming into this series, knowing he's going to be a key factor that if they can play him on the floor with his defensive abilities and being able to finish at the rim can help them out a lot. Because if not, then you have to go smaller. Even though you'll still be bigger than Golden State, you have to go smaller with Nas Reed and Julius Randle.
And outside of Steph, who else really has wiggle? Like, you see what I mean? So now when you switching, like as much as we saw last year when Luka would call him out and he'd come out and he would go dance on him. Outside of Steph, who really has wiggle, right? Jimmy's a 1-2-step guy.
Jimmy's a guy who's going to try to get
to the... But there's no wiggle. Like, there's no switch, let me go wiggle and create two and go kick it.
Free throw line. One dribble pull up, get to the free throw line. So they have nobody else that's going to put the ball on the floor and create for you. You know what I mean? Like, that's not Jimmy game. That's not Buddy Hield game. That's not Prochenski game. So if he can stay on the floor and do what he did offensively, not saying he has to give you 20 and 20, give me 12 and 14 and just be out there defensively, I'm fine with that.
What's the game plan to slow down Steph Curry in this series? Last series we saw Amen Thompson. Are we seeing Jaden McDaniels maybe against Steph Curry?
Oh, no question. Just Jaden McDaniels all day long. His length, and John keeps touching on it. The way Ant-Man's leadership has changed this year, and as I like to say, he's put that battery in the back of his guys' back on the defensive end, because that's when everything changed for him.
Yes.
When Ant-Man said, "God, I'm going to share the basketball with you guys, but defensively, we got to get back to where we were last year when people kind of feared us when we were top 5 most in the major defensive category." They've gotten back to that, and I see Jaden McDaniels being a major way, trying to slow down Steph a little bit.
Yeah, Jaden McDaniels is going to be the guy, but I also think who you put on Draymond Green is going to be the factor also. Because if you look at last year, they put Fred VanVleet on at times, they put Amin Thompson on times, and he's the quarterback of their team that runs their offense, you know what I mean? So when you run that pick and roll with Steph and him, you can switch to somebody that can go out there and guard also. So I don't think Rudy Gobert be on Draymond Green. I think he'd be on somebody else. But whoever Draymond guard, you have to be physical with him. Don't let him get those easy passes when Steph is running around getting off those threes.
I want to touch on Julius Randle for a second, because you mentioned him earlier. He's had a great first round, but there's the narrative around Julius Randle in that trade. A lot of negativity, right? He played really well throughout the season, kind of found his role, and then in that first round was really good. What kind of impact can he have in this series?
A big impact. I think he's the next guy for them. We know Jaden McDaniels can step up, but the way he plays physical basketball, he wants the contact. He's going to get to the post up. He can score. He can pass. He can shoot the three. I think him and Draymond are going to be battling. I can't wait to see that matchup, because they're going to be a physical game. But if Julius Randle could play like he did against the Lakers, that gives Minnesota a super edge, because we know what their bench can do. And we know the way Jaden McDaniels has been playing, shooting the ball with his confidence. He can take them to the next step.
Yeah, just prove that everything you've shown us this year, another one of those words that you can change yourself by your play, which is the narrative. Now you've shown that you can play with Ant-Man. Now all the people that thought you didn't fit early in the season because things didn't get off to a hunky-dory start, where they're falling in place at the right time in the playoffs. You've proven now that when Ant-Man's not shooting the ball well, we can run our offense through you and you make good decisions.
Can Jonathan Kuminga find himself in this series somewhere?
In the competitor in me, John, I want to believe that, but I don't know if Steve Kerr has handled that situation well enough for a guy to say, you know what, let me snap out of it and go back there and play top-notch basketball. Because you go from not playing to throwing me in the mix, and I think his first couple shots the other night were bricks, and he went right back to the bench. So I think that confidence right now is a little fragile. How does Steve Kerr, know that he's been around some of the great ones in our league in history, how do you have the right conversation to get that confidence back?
Yeah, I think that's the key. If he want to use him in this series, I thought they needed him a little bit last year, but they found a way to get through that. So I think, like you said, the last game he missed a couple of layups, and then they threw one pass, hit him in the head, subbed him right out, didn't play no more. So I think they will need him in this series, because he's one of those guys I think that can guard Ant-Man. Not saying he can stop him, but he has the live body, the physicality, the athleticism, and all that. So if they can find a way to get him and he can get his confidence back in and feel like he's still a part of the team that can help them win, I think it will help, but we will have to see.
All right, prediction time. Let's not do a series prediction. Let's do a game prediction tonight. Who do you got here, 3D, tonight? In this game.
The Warriors?
Golden State, yeah.
It's the Wolves. It's Wolves. It's Wolves all day long. I just think they're benched, they're playing well, the defense is hitting at the right time, and they're sharing the basketball, and they're shooting the right amount of threes.
Right on.
That's about it.
It's right. No argument. For me, you said no series, but I have the Wolves in the series. But for the day, I think the Timberwolves, they playing the right way, and they sharing the basketball, and they got a lot of confidence.
Okay, what about the Pacers and the Cavs? Who do you like tonight?
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to go home team Cavs because...
Yeah, by the way, still no word on those three. They're all still questionable.
I'm going to go Cavs.
I go Pacers. I just feel like the Pacers hearing what they have on that side, their confidence might got a little bit better in that locker room.
All right, we got complete post-game coverage coming up on NBA TV. After each game, we will see you then. Enjoy it.